What is going on, guys? This is Boston J coming to you from the COC Hog Wars. Just finished up our war with Dreamline Champions 2 clan. Great war. It was pretty close for most of the war. We were always out in front. I don't think there was any point where we actually got behind. But we were always up by maybe 1 or 2 stars throughout the war. And then towards the end, picked up another couple with some late triples, about 90% destruction to about 85, so it was a pretty solid win. This is what our map looks like. We're going to take a look at just a handful of triples, and I don't think we're going to go in the order in which they happen. We'll just start at the bottom of the map and move on up. I do want to feature just one, if I may, selfishly, one Town Hall 11 attack, and there's a reason for it. It's always fun when you try something new, something that you've never done. And so I looked at this base and I thought, I really would like to have 4 P.E.K.K.A to funnel. And I want to hog the base, and I want about 29 hogs. And I'm not willing to, and I realized I didn't have any wizards, and so I'm like, well, I don't want to give up any of those P.E.K.K.A s, and I don't want to give up any of those hogs. So how am I going to do this? And I thought, well, I can give up some spell space. And so, all times for it here. So in lieu of bringing any wizards at all, I brought 4 skeletons. And so I kind of move on in with my heroes, with my ward and everything, and then here's my hogs that, I got my heals to do that. And then towards the end, I just sort of scattered some skeleton spells around the base, and it was just kind of, like I said, it's kind of fun sometimes when your creativity helps you form your attack. So I just thought I'd feature that one real quick, and then we will move on up. Let's see. This is a Town Hall 11, base 15, Boston J. Okay, so speaking of doing something a little different, doing something a little new, so our opponents. Probably about maybe 30 minutes prior to this attack, they used 8 Quake, and I thought, that's kind of different. And so I started scanning the bases, and I thought, are there any bases where I could use 8 Quakes to really expose some weaknesses? And I looked at this base, and I thought, I can open up the entire base with 8 Quakes. And so that's what I did, and I'll ×2 it here, but look at this. Look at the base. The Town Hall, all 3 Inferno Towers, the Eagle Artillery, multiple Expos. I think every single Expo is completely wide open and exposed. And the cool thing that's kind of nice is that when you bring 8 Quakes, you still have room for 2 Rages. And so if your whole group sticks together, you can still Rage that group twice, and still have a poison spell. And so that's what I did. And it's not the answer to every base you attack, obviously, but it's one of those things you should at least keep in your toolbox, something you should at least be thinking about, because I know, at least for me, when I'm making bases, I don't think, would 8 Quakes be able to expose this base? That's not something I really think about when I'm designing my own bases. And so, again, is 8 Quakes the answer to every single attack? Obviously not, but I am sure that there's multiple bases just like this one that could be exposed by it. So I thought that was a cool attack and thought I'd share that one with you. Moving on. This one's really cool. Bird had the first 3-star of the war, and there's something that's really neat about this attack. Now, granted, I didn't talk to Bird about this following his attack. Actually, before I even say that, one thing that I appreciate about Bird, or one thing that's kind of cool about him, is it's always fun to see how different people possess maybe different skills in the game. And one thing that's kind of neat about Bird is even I've noticed, like, even little ways that he funnels or cuts off his queen. So like his queen's obviously not going to head towards 9 o'clock, but Bird always kind of has, I think, cool little fun ways how he funnels bases using like bowlers or giants or and different stuff like that. So Bird's a great attacker, great clan leader, great attacker. Now watch what happens here. Again, I didn't talk to Bird, but my guess is he did not plan on his queen exiting the base here. She went in, grabbed the town hall, but now she left. She's like, you know what, I'm going to go hang out with this good-looking dude over here. And here's a sign. Here's a sign of somebody who's a great Clash player. And that is when your attack begins to go sideways. You know, the troops do something you did not plan on it. And when you have the skill or the ability to improv, to make adjustments on the fly, and that's what Bird does right here. Again, my guess is that was not where he planned on originally dropping that jump spell, but again, he realized what his queen was doing, and so he quickly realized, well, I gotta get her in some way. He does that, remains calm, drops his hogs in a great way. He's got his stone slammer. This attack is still gonna come together. He draws the CC, drops the poison really well. Now, that queen's going to be distracted for quite some bit, but those hogs are doing work. The warden is he's being a good boy and following them well. The enemy queen is going to do a little bit of damage here, but that's okay because Bird's queen steps on up, takes her out. Does the warden survive? No, the warden goes down, which is going to make this attack even maybe a little closer than what it would have been. His queen's going to bang through this wall. Let me ×2 this. But he's got more than enough stuff, especially with a full health queen. Great job, Bird. Great job, as I mentioned in a previous video. Picking up that first triple is always one of the most important things that you can do in a war, and that's what you did. Awesome job, man. Moving on. This next base, I think is this Pablo? Pablo is a fantastic attacker. In fact, the very first video I made 2 wars ago, we faced this exact base. I 3-starred it using hogs. I think I used like a couple ice golems to charge in at the bottom. And Pablo's going to be using some miners, and you're going to see how he just does a wonderful job here. I think, just to kind of give a shout out to Pablo, and I think I probably speak for almost every single person in the clan saying this, if we were to make like an all-star team of like the top 5 COC hog players, the most consistent, skilled players in the clan, Pablo's one of those guys. He's a stud. He's just a fantastic player. Always trying out new things, always doing friendly challenges, changing things. Very versatile player. It's funny. Your average person who's going up against max 12s, a slump for them might be, not getting a 3-star, in a few weeks or whatever. But for Pablo, if he goes 1 or 2 wars without a 3-star, he's like, oh, I'm in a slump. And that's the truth, because he's good. He's always picking up triples. He's such a great attacker, and we're so fortunate to have him in the clan. We love Pablo. So what he's going to do here, his queen's going to walk. He's just going to take out that lava hound, going to take out that enemy king, hopefully, right? And then in not too very shortly, I think we're going to see that Barb King. There it is, right over there. And you know exactly what he's doing. He's creating a beautiful little hallway funnel for his miners, and here they come. The warden's going to follow them. Let's see if this queen, I think the queen's going to go up that little section there. To me, I think that's, I don't know, there might be some folks who disagree, but that's just sort of an error in base design. Whenever, it looks cute, it looks fancy, having this little hallway right in the middle of your base, but really, at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're just allowing troops like a free detour right into the middle of your base. Look at this queen and what she's able to do. Granted, not just any person can do this. It's because Pablo obviously set up this attack beautifully and he executed it well. And when you execute it well, you're able to take advantage of just little things like this. And so it's a great attack by Pablo. I think there's one little troll Tesla up here, and I think this was, I didn't see this live, but I think this was a fairly close attack, maybe with like a second or two left, but great job, man. I think this was the final, either the last 3-star we got or the second last 3-star we got out of the war, but great job, Pablo. He's a stud. Great player. And then, of course, here we go. Just like last war, here we have SAS. Now, just to repeat something I just said, great players are able to expose errors in base design. And as somebody who's very skilled with E-drags and spell placement, look at the bottom left-hand side of this base. You see those two air defenses around like 7 and 8 o'clock. Both of those air defenses, those are poorly placed for a few reasons. One, he can use suicide heroes, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to go grab those two air defenses using his king and his queen, and he's going to be able to do that without drawing out whatever's in that clan castle. It's one thing if you're going to bait your opponent's heroes to come and maybe take out your air defense, but at the very least, at least make him pay by having to draw out like a lava hound or something like that. But the clan castle's on the other side of the base, and so his king's going to do a wonderful job. He's going to use the ability, clear the way. Here comes the queen, and look what she's going to do. Exactly what he was hoping that she was going to do. She's going to take out half of the air defenses. Just such a advantage from the beginning of the attack. Now, granted, as I said in Pablo's attack, you have to be able to recognize it, and the best players, the most skilled players, are going to recognize that, and they're going to expose that. Your average Clash player wouldn't realize how you could take advantage of an error like that in base design, but SAS is not an average player. Pablo is not an average player. Bird, other guys like that, they're not just typical run-of-the-mill people. We try to constantly improve at COC Hog Wars. We're constantly trying to learn, constantly trying to challenge ourselves, to improve and to stretch ourselves and to become the best players that we possibly can be. And so you'll notice here he has so many E-drags left. Apparently when this guy built his base, he thought everyone and their grandma was going to be coming from 12 o'clock, because there's 1 black bomb, 2 black bombs, 3 black bombs, and I think there's even more. And that's just not smart. It's just not smart base design when you completely gamble everything. All 5 are located at 12 o'clock. He made absolutely no provision or thought or planning about an opponent coming from somewhere else besides 12, and you pay for that because his E-drags survived the entire attack without having to run into a single one. Fantastic war. Great job, guys. Again, 47-44. Dreamline put up a relatively good fight. At first, it seemed like they were just kind of throwing out weak 2-stars. It didn't even seem like they wanted to really be in the war. But then they started to pick it up. And there's a point where it's like, okay, if we think we're just going to lazily make our way through this, we could find ourselves on the losing end. But that's not what happened. Great war. Looks like we already matched. Let's see, Spartacus BR. I don't even know who that is. Let's see here. 633 wins. Sweet. All right. Well, that's our next opponent. Great job, everyone. This is Boston J signing off. Have a good one.